your 30s, I think it is appropriate to transition to a mentoring stage. In your 20s, I personally think it's okay to be selfish. It's okay to be self-absorbed. It's okay to put your own interests first, because you're in a time period where you are discovering who you are and creating who you are. And it's really important to put primary importance on that, and not sacrifice too much for other people, because you need to focus on becoming what you are meant to be and creating your life. But once you're out of your 20s, I think that it is appropriate for you to become more others focused. And I personally have walked this journey because I'm turning 30 in 4 days. And I've been thinking a lot about what that means. And I think one of the main conclusions I've come to is that I want to transition from being selfish into being more selfless or more others focused. And I want to first mention that I don't think selfishness is a bad thing, especially in your 20s. I think that selfishness and being self-absorbed and putting your own interests first and all the rest while you're in your 20s is actually appropriate. I think it's actually appropriate to be that way, because you are discovering and creating who you are and exploring all of the potential options for yourself, for your life. And I think that it is appropriate to put yourself first in that regard and not sacrifice too much for everyone else and what everyone else wants from you. And I think people who have regrets, they did sacrifice too much for what everyone else wanted from them. Like, oh, I just did what my parents wanted me to be. Oh, I just became someone that everyone expected me to be. You hear a lot of regrets around that theme. So I think discovering who you really are and creating a life based off of that is really important in your 20s. And taking it seriously requires some element of selfishness. If you're going to become, a star athlete, entertainer, not even a star, if you're just going to become something really, valuable to you, it requires that you be selfish about getting there in a lot of ways. But it comes to a point where you have discovered who you are, you have created who you are. And for me, this was in music. I've spent the last 10 years totally self-absorbed over my music and my travels, and all of my experiences. I've been seeking out experiences so I can write about them and create songs and music videos around the world. And if you haven't checked any of those out, there's a link in the description. I make music videos around the world. And you can go to my other YouTube channel and watch a few of those in Africa and Asia and Europe. But anyway, once it comes to a point where I think you transition into your 30s, it's important to become more others focused. That's how I feel, at least. That's what I want to do. I want to become more others focused in the realm of teaching, mentoring. You can be others focused as a parent, as a coach, as a guide of some sort. There's so many options and so many ways as a manager, as a boss, as an employer. There's so many different ways for you to become more others focused and use your knowledge and experience to positively impact people that are setting out on the journey that you have already finished. So there's a lot of people in their teens and early 20s that are looking to set out on the journey that you've just finished. I've just finished the journey of self-exploration, self-discovery, self-creation. I'm sure it's never over, but I have come to a definite checkpoint with the journey of self-discovery and self-creation. When you hit 30, you've done quite a bit of self-discovery and self-creation. Some people more than others. Hopefully you've done as much as you can. But it comes to a point where, people, they call it settling down or things like that. But I think what it really is you're settling into yourself. You're settling in to who you are. You're less volatile because you know more about the world. You know more about yourself. I know I like that. I know I don't like that. I know what it is I'm good at. I know what it is I like to focus on, how I want to spend my time. You just kind of settle into who you are. And as you do that, it's really beneficial, I think, for your own development to become more others focused, because it doesn't just help them, it's actually the next stage of development for you. It's my next stage of development. I can't continue developing unless I take on a mentor role, unless I teach, unless I parent, unless I manage, unless I guide, unless I employ, unless I do one of those things or something like it, then I don't continue developing. because I think it's necessary, this is just from my perspective, to step into the next phase being more others focused and finding a way to impart my knowledge and experience that I gained in the last phase. And by managing or employing or teaching or guiding or parenting, that gives me an avenue to do that, which is what I need to continue developing. So these are just my thoughts as I rapidly approach my 30th birthday in 4 days. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope that this brought some value to you as you navigate your 20s or your 30s or your 40s or your teens, whatever it may be. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.